Hi, everybody. This is Danny Palacio, and you are listening to A Waking Moment podcast. I'm grateful that you're here. We explore topics to help us know our own inner truth, to live a life that is authentic and led from the heart. And there are so many ways that we can connect to our divinity and our humanness. And it's the intersection point that really fascinates me the most, honestly. I want to know what it feels like when spirit and matter come together and meet up. And then what spark, what fire, what energy is created to add to the experience of our soul's journey and our physical life, and where desire and passion are created and honored and really truly embraced. It is something that I have wondered and explored, and I don't have a 100% answer yet. Today's episode is going to be around the root chakra. It's the color red, so I'm wearing my red sweater. And I love the root chakra. As I've mentioned in other episodes, there's something in each chakra that I have a favorite around. The root chakra for me is really necessary. Just like when you build a house, you can't build a house without a foundation. You can, but it may not last for very long. If you think about the beginning of anything, that's very similar to the root chakra. You have to start somewhere. And although I see the chakra system much bigger than the main 7 that we have talked about and that is publicly readily available, there are many, many more chakras, energy centers, but these 7 are the primary. If you're going to know anything about energy and centers and what they mean and how to connect and all of that, it's the 7 chakra system that we are very used to. So the root is the very first chakra. It is the place that sustains life and its equal and opposite, death. And it's the foundation of all the other 7 chakra energies. So if your root, your base chakra is out of balance, is shut down, it's not going to enable the rest of the chakras to do everything that they potentially could do. And so it's the first because it is the base. So I've talked about this before, that the base starts at the base of the spine where your perineum is. So men and women have perineums. It's the skin right at the base between your butt and your sex organ. So it's right there. And again, think of it like a basketball. Like that is the beginning of the top of the ball, and it goes down, and it is this energy center that is 3-dimensional. Like I said, it has a front, it has a back, and it's this beautiful, amazing strength if we actually take care of it and encourage it to grow. So I'm going to grab my notes because there's so much information about the root chakra. I don't want to miss anything. And it's all going to be in the summary notes. So if I'm going too fast, you're like, what did Danny say? It literally is written in the summary notes. So you've got a little takeaway if you need it. Okay, so first and foremost, the root chakra is support, and it is connected to the earth. So we live on the earth, which is beautiful. So you have a physical, very well-known concept of the earth. And we sustain our life by the earth giving us all that we need. You know, it enables us to grow food, to have trees grow so that we can build houses. And it has all the natural resources to sustain our life and to help us really, truly flourish. And so there's a lot of gratitude that can go into that particular aspect of the connection of the root chakra system and the earth that we live. So there's a beautiful relationship. Like I said, the color is red. The shape is a square. And I find that fascinating because squares are foundational, right? They are, each side is the exact length of the other sides, and they are so strong. And so I I love that visual of a square, of us standing on a square box. And of course, every chakra has a lotus flower and the number of petals. Not surprising, it's a four-petaled lotus. And I love that as well, because it's just the beginning, right? It's just the opening part of a lotus, these four flowers, not flowers, these four petals. So imagine what that looks like. What I will say from my own personal experience, when my root chakra was a mess, let's just call it that, I had a lot of doubt in my life. I suffered from depression. There was a point in time in my young life, that critical time of 17, 18 years old, ending my first big true love experience, adding on that I moved again. Um, so it's a whole nother episode of how many times I've moved. And depression was real. And I questioned whether or not I was really meant to be here. And so I got really depressed. And thankfully, I had a loving family that was able to step in and support me. But there was a dark night, literally, where I wanted to kill myself. And I don't share that lightly, right? But it's nothing to be ashamed about. But it is an example of how the root chakra, but you have to remember who I am. I love energy and I believe in vibration and frequency. And when that gets so low and everything else around you is telling you can't have what you want, you have to be a certain way, it's overwhelming. And I was very young. I really, they say the brain doesn't finish developing until you're like 25 years old. So I still had several years to go. And I share that because the root chakra does hold that. It holds that survival, self-preservation energy. It is the place where you want to develop and hold safety and connection. And when you don't feel those feelings and you haven't built systems and people and energies and thoughts and beliefs around what is safe, what does it mean to be connected, how can I survive? It can get real tricky. It can get real messy. And I don't want that for you. I want you to ask the questions. I want you to know yourself so well. And I want you to build community. That's part of the reason why I'm doing a podcast. I don't get a lot of comments on my podcast yet. I don't have a huge following, but I believe that this energy, this sharing ripples out. And so the root chakra can help you stay grounded. It can help you feel rooted. And it's lovely that it's at the base of our spine, right where our legs are going to, come out of our bodies, right? And we're going to walk and we're going to connect. It's beautiful. And so, what else? There's a thing about the root chakra. Like people are like, well, if it's balanced, it feels strong, safe, connected. But when it's not, when there's doubt, it's not balanced, the energy is either not moving or it's closed down or it's small. Like imagine a golf ball versus a basketball. If you had to sit on one, which one would you want? I think a basketball because it's much bigger and it's easier to balance. But if you had to sit on a golf ball, it's very small. And that doesn't help us stay connected. So you can start to imagine that adding to that life force, keeping that ball nice and big, feeling that connection is supportive to your life's dreams, your desires. And so if you just take a moment now in this moment and you think about, how safe do I feel? Do I feel connected? Do I feel isolated? Do I feel like I am on solid ground? Or do you feel like you're sinking in the mud, in the quicksand, where you can't even control or feel like you have a choice? If you're feeling some of those negative, darker, low vibration feelings, it's okay. You're okay. It's okay. It's human. And I shared one of my dark moments, and I'm grateful to still be here. I even though that was so long ago already, right? Like, we don't know what the future holds, but I want to encourage you to tune in. There was a practice when I lived in Peru, and a beautiful woman that I got to know and learn from, Diane Dunn. She owns a retreat center, bed and breakfast, down in this little town called Pisac, and it's called Paz y Luz, so peace and light in Spanish. And she taught an elemental course. And when it came to earth, and sitting with what they call the earth Pachamama, and I love that name for the earth because it's just lovely, like it's a mama, right? So she's going to love you and hug you and like all the best things you can possibly think of as a mother, as mama. And the practice, though, was to go belly to belly. So lay on the earth, feel the ground underneath your belly, feel what it feels like to be supported by the earth, and lay there. And if you can, if you can, I would suggest doing it naked, skin on earth, right? It's so profound to connect. It's like you get plugged in a way. And then the rest of the tradition is to dig a little hole and put your hands over your mouth and talk. Let it all go. Talk it out. Share everything with Pachamama. Everything you're feeling, wanting, desiring, all of it. The good, the bad, the ugly, the amazing, the inspired, the dark nights, all of it. All of the confusion, all of the beauty, all of the desire. Just talk it out into the earth. And then the next step is to simply turn your head and put your ear on the earth and listen. So many times we don't do that. We don't listen. We're so busy that we don't even take the time to listen to ourselves. And most of the time when we're listening to someone else, we're thinking, we're anticipating, we're judging, we're feeling, we're not listening. It's not really active listening. You're in your own space, you're in your own thoughts, you're in your own energy, when really, when you're connecting authentically with someone, you're going to listen. You're going to allow them to speak in a space that's safe. And that's exactly what Pachamama does. That's what the earth does. So I had already had a spiritual, energetic connection, right? So I listened, and I did get a message, or messages every time I did it. And it may or may not happen for you, but if you listen, you'll get quiet, and you might not hear a message from the earth, but you might hear a message from your soul, from yourself. So right now it's fall, winter in the northern hemisphere, unless you live in a warm climate like Phoenix, Florida. But if you can, go lay on the earth and see what it feels like. It will help your root chakra. Okay, so from a, how do I want to deal with this? So from a spiritual perspective, the root chakra is the powerhouse, I guess. It's the place that sustains life, which I may have mentioned, but just very directly, it's the place that sustains life. And it helps us feel the cycle and the rhythm of life, which most of us are out of tune. We live in an artificial world, right? Where there's light always, where darkness doesn't have to exist. You can always have a light on. Day and night can come and go. Some people work nights, so that's their daytime. So it's totally flipped. But if we were to get back into nature, if we were to get back into listening to our bodies, we would have a natural rhythm, cadence that would support us in making sure that our primal needs were met, like food, water, and shelter. And when those things are not met, when we're not giving ourselves life energy, you go back into those darker energies, the depression, the sadness, the anxiety, the fear, the lack of trust, and that spirals. And so when you're feeling those, take a deep breath, go sit somewhere, take your feet out of your shoes and feel the ground beneath you, even if it's just the floor. Imagine that it's the earth. If you can't do that and you're in a situation where you're not going to have a moment alone, then imagine it. Imagine it. Imagine that you are in your favorite place that is of nature, and imagine yourself there. Imagine what it feels like to connect and breathe. So, couple little suggestions. Let's go on to where is it in the physical body, because that's always fun to talk about. Well, if you put the two together, if it's a base chakra, it's the foundation of life, then it has to do with your skeletal system. So all those lovely bones and the teeth, the large intestine, kidneys, and blood. Because, the marrow is found in the bones, and that produces the blood in our bodies. And so really big physical, and strong boned and big boned, real physicality. Stamina and endurance are also kind of related to the root chakra. And interestingly enough, the root chakra, when it comes to which sense, I did this last time too. It sounds like I said like CENTS, but it's the sense of the body. So this is your nose. So it has everything to do with smelling. And I found that fascinating because Sunny Brown, a friend of mine who's the owner of Resonate Health Spa here in Newburgh, we just did an episode around clearing, purification, protection, and we talked a lot about smoke. And we talked a lot about the primary plants and herbs and that produce the smoke for different cultures. And then I look up the root chakra, and it's the nose. So it's the sense of smell. And it is sage and cedar are the two that will help clear and ground, which I knew, but I hadn't associated it with the root chakra. So how fun for that. I mean, I love it when life has those kinds of synchronicities and you take note of them. So really neat. So the other big part of the chakra system is affirmations. I've shared them throughout the other chakras that I've talked about. And we are going to do all of the 7 chakras individually. But I do have an episode which I can link to. I'll link to all of them actually, so you can choose if you want to listen to more. But affirmations are amazing because even though we may not be experiencing them, they do help put the energy into our system. Our brain processes the thoughts of the affirmation. Our body responds. Our energy frequency increases. So affirmations are supportive. Are they the cure-all for everything? Not from my personal experience, but I do have other people in my life that absolutely believe in them to a place where they can transcend a difficult moment with an affirmation, a mantra that works for them. More on mantras maybe in a different episode, but I'm going to share some beautiful affirmations. I don't think you're going to be too surprised by any of them, but I am deeply rooted. We talked about that. Connecting ourselves deep into the earth and rooting ourselves with our bodies, with our energies. I am connected to my body. It's funny how when we have fear, anxiety, depression, we tend to leave our body. We tend to ignore our body. But if we can stay connected to our physical self, it's going to help produce safety and security. So I feel safe and secure. Just like a tree or a star, I have a right to be here. That's really big. I stand for my values, for my truth, and for justice. I have what I need. And what I want to add to that is you were born with everything you need. It's all inside. You have everything you need. And believing and repeating that mantra, I have everything I need, is powerful and adds to life energy. I am open to possibilities. I am grateful for all the challenges that help me grow and transform. Challenges are sometimes really challenging, right? They're very hard. But if we can endure them, if we can shift them, if we can acknowledge and accept that we are in a challenging feeling, moment, experience, they're usually on the other side of that are insights, blessings, opportunities to grow and to learn and to love. And so it's really hard to remember that when you're feeling really cruddy and you're really in a lot of fear and doubt. So that's when you reach out to your family, your friends, people that you know you can trust, that love you, that support you, that see you. That's part of the root chakra. So last but not least, there's more, but I'm just going to share a couple more. I make choices that are healthy and good for me. I don't like the word good in that one, but I think I know what they mean. So I make choices that are healthy. I would say I make choices that are in alignment with my body, with my spirit, with my values. I trust myself. Big one. I trust myself. Do you trust yourself? If you don't trust yourself, and you can accept that you don't trust yourself, then build that relationship of trust within yourself. Start to listen to those nudges. Start to honor your body's requests. Start to give yourself some root chakra goodness, because it will help you grow that inner relationship for trust. And last but not least, I love life. Yeah, I honestly can say that now. I do love life, even when I'm building a business, even when my family's health and there are challenges in the world, even in moments of uncertainty, I still love my life. I love it. I love all of it, even the challenging bits and pieces. But as y'all know, I'm a woman who cup is half full, and I see the possibilities. I am proud to be called a Pollyanna. If you haven't, I don't know if everybody knows that reference, and I'm not going to go deep into it, but Pollyanna was a character in a movie when I was really young. It's very popular in my age group, but she is positive and she sings songs and she believes in miracles, and I'm like, I am that. I love that I am that way. Oh, goodness. So the root chakra, I hope you got a sense that it's intense because it is. It kind of needs to be. It's that solid foundation. It's that place that's super deep, and it is intense, and it's necessary, right? Like, it is also very, very beautiful. And I brought if you're listening, I have a garnet in my hand, and it's this deep, deep red, almost black. And we didn't talk about crystals really, but look for earthy crystals. So anything red, so ruby, garnet, um, what else? I'm blanking on some crystals. Uh, did I write any of them in? But and you can even do black. You can do black quartz, smoky quartz, tourmaline. Uh, I've even seen hematite, which is a silver. I was looking if I had one around. Um, onyx, uh, black, red, brown. All those crystals help ground. And so if you are energetically sensitive and you feel crystals as a support, I highly recommend carnelian was the one I was thinking of. I highly recommend getting some jewelry, getting some pocket stones, throw them in your pockets, put it in your purse. Yeah, because if you believe in crystals and you have a relationship with them, they're fantastic. So just really tune in to what you're most called to. And if you go to a crystal store, that's super fun to go to. See what you're called to, see what you navigate naturally to, like, and see, and if it's for you, it's for you. So that's awesome. Oh, I always talk about tone, don't I? In my heart chakra episode, I think I may have messed up the tone, but it's fine. This one, though, I double, triple checked before I'm going to share it with you. And it's Lang. And sometimes there's an M after it. And so in English, we would say lang, Lang, lang. And if you want to pronounce all the letters, you can. There are lovely toning YouTube videos for all the chakras. Highly recommend. I will probably add a link to that as well. But that humming, that toning really can vibrationally shift, clear, break up stagnant energy, open up new doorways. So check the summary notes. I will absolutely give you a few links to help support your root chakra. And if you have Spotify or YouTube, or what are some players? Apple Music, Amazon Music, all those, just put in your search root chakra, and you're going to get ones that activate, that heal, that support all of the chakras. It's such a known thing, which I absolutely love and adore. So I am grateful that you have hung out with me to learn about the root chakra. I hope that my sharing and my information will inspire you to explore a little bit more about that root chakra. And if you're brave, which I know you all are, I encourage you to put your hand down at that base root chakra area. Put your hand right on your perineum and just hold it there. And maybe even do the affirmations to let you, all of you, your energy, your physical, your emotion, your mental, all the various bodies that we have to make us up who we are, they will all get nourished by you doing that. So thank you so much. And I also wanted to share really fast. I did the root chakra right now because we're moving into December, right? We're actually in December when this goes live. And it's the dark. It is the darkest part of the year. And so the root chakra can get triggered. And I want to support you in feeling it instead of pushing it away, and knowing that you have support and information to move through it. And so, And I also, as I always say, I am always available. You are welcome to reach out to me. You know how to find me. All of my contact information is everywhere. So if you're stuck or you reach a moment where you don't feel like you have any support, I want you to know that you do. I'm right here. So anyway, many blessings, and I will see you next week.